One of the reasons there's this pernicious achievement gap in the United States is because we lose the kids so early. From kindergarten to first grade to second grade, you see this dramatic fall off in achievement.
It actually is our responsibility as educators to be able to teach the whole child. There is such a huge gap in schools in terms of providing engaging material to kids when it comes to this.
Children need social and emotional learning, reinforced by both teachers and parents, because it's so clear that character development is proving to be so much more important than academics. Peekapak works with early childhood education experts to design a curriculum around original stories and lesson plans that teach these critical SEL skills for teachers to use in the classroom and parents to use at home. On our free online platform, teachers and parents can access our curriculum, track a child's learning, and share progress updates.
What Peekapak offers is a new way to do something that embraces both the Common Core and new technology, and a recognition that SEL needs to be a greater part of what's being taught.
Peekapak is really unique because it blends social emotional learning with reading, which I think is really powerful because kids really respond to stories. It's very special to have a program that blends those two so seamlessly together. Something that Peekapak does that other platforms don't is it brings parents fully into the loop. The teacher and the student and the parent, they can all discuss in that beautiful triangle and make sure that everybody is aware of everything that's going on. It's very empowering for parents.
They're making it accessible to schools from all different sort of economic resources. And so that's something that's very gratifying to see.
Whenever you're upset and think that you just want to change the world, that happens to me a lot, but then all you need to do is just think of what you're grateful for and take your mind off the teeny tiny problems that you have. So it's a really good series for that.
And as soon as you see something that can scale so quickly, there is no reason that every child in the country shouldn't use Peekapak in their classroom. And that's a big opportunity.
It has the potential to lead the way in kind of what a new model could be in terms of education.
Isn't Zach adorable? Thank you so much for having us. We're honored to be here. My name is Amy. So beyond academics, children need to learn social skills to be successful in life. But the problem we found is that they're not taught in the education and not reinforced at home often. We're solving this problem with Peekapak. We're a social emotional learning platform that bridges the gap between the class and the home. We provide teachers through our platform instructional lesson plans and storybooks designed backed by research to teach these critical social emotional learning skills through dialogue and hands-on learning in the classroom. We use technology to make it easy for teachers to track a student's progress on these character traits and the Common Core lesson plans, share updates to parents to be able to keep them in the loop, and then give ready-to-go questions and activities to continue and reinforce this learning at the home. Now, we've been working with educators from across the country, and we have an amazing team. I personally am excited to be working on this. I come from a business background, but my heart has always been in education. So much that I actually took a leave from working at Procter & Gamble to work in K-4 classrooms. I later did my MBA at INSEAD, and I've been excited about how I can bring innovation and leadership to education. Alongside me is an amazing team. We have education experts, writers, artists, and developers. And we've been backed by Imagine K-12, the top EdTech accelerator program, who's helped companies such as Remind and Class Dojo scale their impact. Now, we believe that together as a team, we can bring Peekapak through our freemium platform so that every educator from across the country can use our instructional lesson plans and stories to make an impact and teach these critical SEL skills. Now, the timing is perfect. This summer, an amazing landmark study was published proving that social emotional learning skills have a huge impact. It found that kindergarten students who scored high on these social development skills, or social emotional learning skills, had a 4 times greater likelihood to graduate college, just proving out the long-term impacts of SEL. Now, we've heard this loud and clear from educators from across the country as we opened up our platform for private beta, and over 80 classrooms signed up to test our platform with us, including Khan Lab School in Mountain View, and also Christy, who's at a Title I school in North Dakota. She has a great story. Just last month, she started using Peekapak. And it's been a touching story. So Toby is in our class. He's a second grade student, and he has a vocabulary of just 30 words. He's already been switched over from 3 different teachers as they find him difficult to manage and disruptive. Christy introduces Peekapak to our classroom. The first topic is on self-regulation. It's about how you can help children identify emotions and control those feelings. And there are first stories about Leo the hedgehog, who's incredibly nervous about starting school. But he learns coping strategies, and he gets over his nervousness, and he's able to become a leader in school. As Christy introduces the story, she sees Toby completely immersed in the storyline. And over the next following weeks, she sees a transformation in Toby. Toby identifies with Leo. At the end of the day, he's nervous as well about school, about reading. And so he recognizes that it's okay to feel this way. Leo feels this way. He also understands that he's not alone. So you see his confidence build over the month. And he actually takes the lead. He goes up to the projector and he starts flipping the storybook with Christy. He also starts wanting to read. He can't read yet. He only has 30 words, but he starts repeating the words after Christy because he wants to be part of the process. And Christy, in 30 years of teaching, is just amazed. She's like, I haven't seen this type of engagement. Now, if we can have this kind of impact on Toby, I can only imagine with our scale, we can be able to impact so many classrooms across the country. And so to scale our platform, we've been working with over 300 teachers over the last couple of months, understanding what is it going to take to design a product and a platform that's going to get adoption. And loud and clear, teachers want to teach SEL, but the problem is the Common Core is priority. And so what we did is we said, great, we're going to design all our curriculum to be aligned to the Common Core, English Language Arts standards, to make it foolproof and easy for them to adopt it and justify time and scheduling. And we've heard that very much appreciated from all our teachers we work with. We also are working with a distribution partner who has access to a database of over 200,000 teachers and educators. And once we open up our freemium platform, we'll be starting to work with them. But our ultimate goal is to reach the 1 million pre-K to grade 3 teachers and the 18.5 million parents, because we want every classroom and every home to have access to be able to teach these critical skills. Our last story is with Lindsay. She's a local educator. She came out from an hour away, and she's going to share her experience.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Snyder. I'm a first grade teacher at a very small Title I school in Dixon, California. The majority of my school's population is Spanish speaking, and a great majority of our families are considered migrant. They leave for about 6 weeks to 3 months during the year to find work. Their students go with them. We're told they're in school during the time, but when they come back, the academic gap is there. So I've been using Peekapak in my classroom, and one day I put it on my projector before my students walked in. And when they came into the classroom, they saw the story, cover of the story, and they were talking amongst themselves, asking questions, wanted to know what was on my screen, what was going on. And I just said, yes, I have their buy-in. They're ready. Let's go. So we started the story, and the whole time, they wanted to know what was going on. It was a story on gratitude. They were excited. They related to the characters. They were making real-world connections the entire time, and loved what we heard. At the end of the story, we did an activity which was on the Tree of Happiness, and they could not wait to fill out their little tags and stick them on the trees. And I have one particular student in my class, whose name was Evan, and he just he didn't fit in compared to the other students, and they said, his behavior wasn't normal, and he saw a student write on a sticky note and put it on there that they were happy to have Evan in his class, and the smile on this kid's face when he saw it was priceless. And sorry, priceless moment. So just things like that, I can't wait to see it again.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you again for inviting us to present and for this opportunity. Oh yeah. Can't leave yet.
Questions?
So my middle school students have just had Class Dojo introduced to them. I know you mentioned that earlier on. Maybe you can explain a little bit the difference between what you do and Class Dojo, because that's the only thing I've experienced with relative to what you're doing.
Yeah, I think Class Dojo is a fantastic behavioral management tool. What we do differently is that we provide actual content. So how do teachers actually teach these behaviors, these positive behaviors, these skills, these social emotional skills? So these are like empathy, gratitude, perseverance, and we do that through stories and through lesson plans that have, you know, as Lindsay mentioned, like we have a gratitude tree, we'll give them the printout. We'll make it really easy for them to implement this learning, track that progress, and then get parents involved in that process. And it's not just an update of, hey, this is what we did. It's actually, here's something you can actually do. Here's a question you can ask your child. Here's a way that you can reinforce this topic by doing an activity together. And it's meant to be hands-on, dialogue-based, and encouraging that interaction between both teacher and child and parent and child.
I love what you're working on, so thank you. Are you still on the freemium model?
We're on a freemium model.
Okay,
right now, we're currently in private beta, so we're working with a closed group of schools to help us test our platform before we open it up.
And do you anticipate sort of a different pricing structure based on private versus public? Because I think a lot of us have kids at awesome private schools or soon to be at private awesome schools. And then those of us who would also really like our kids at public schools love to see the SEL portion of that, but just finding out how accessible that is to a private school of all sort of backgrounds. And what maybe you anticipate as you grow?
Yeah, we anticipate, I mean, it's a freemium platform, so we want some level of access to any school, but we'll definitely have premium features such as greater analytics, greater, richer content, and it'll be a price per student in a basically a leveled kind of pricing. So we plan to employ something similar to Newsela, which again has like about 4 million teachers using their platform, but a certain population that really wants to get richer and deeper into the SEL and be able to track, understand, and really engage their populations in that.